You're dedicated. You follow the rules. You adopt habits everyone says are healthy. You run, you do yoga, you drink your green juices. But instead of feeling rejuvenated, a nagging joint pain starts to become a part of your daily life. If this story sounds familiar, you're not alone. The uncomfortable truth is that after 50, our bodies respond differently, and some of the habits we consider the pinnacle of health may actually be causing silent, dangerous wear and tear. Today, we're going to dive deep into the science behind 5 healthy habits that are secretly destroying your joints after 50. And I guarantee, what you're about to discover could completely change the way you view your well-being. If you're committed to aging with strength, mobility, and without pain, this video is for you. So, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because our commitment is to bring you evidence-based information so you can make the best decisions for your health. Let's start by deconstructing the first myth, one of the most popular and perhaps one of the most detrimental when done incorrectly. It involves a pair of sneakers, the road, and the best intentions. But the result can be a high price paid by your knees and hips. Stay with me to understand the biomechanics behind this common habit and how to protect it without giving up an active life. We're talking about running, specifically running on hard surfaces like asphalt or concrete. This is our first healthy habit on the list. For decades, running has been celebrated as the cardiovascular exercise par excellence, a fantastic way to maintain weight, strengthen the heart, and improve mood. And all of that is true. The real health problem, however, arises when we consider the physics of movement. Every time your foot hits the ground, a reaction force, known as impact force, travels back up your body. On a soft surface like grass, some of this force is absorbed by the ground. On asphalt, the absorption is minimal, and your joints, ankles, knees, and hips take the full brunt of the impact. Biomechanics studies, like those published in journals, such as the Journal of Biomechanics, show that this force can be 1.5 to 3 times your body weight with each stride. Now, imagine that multiplied by thousands of strides during a 30-minute run. The scientific mechanism of damage is a process of cumulative microtumor cartilage, that smooth, protective tissue at the ends of our bones, doesn't have a robust blood supply, meaning its ability to regenerate is extremely limited, especially after 50. Repetitive impact can, over time, wear down this cartilage, leading to inflammation, pain, and eventually, osteoarthritis. But this doesn't mean you have to hang up your running shoes forever. The issue isn't abandoning the habit, but rather adapting it intelligently. And it's this adaptation that makes all the difference between an exercise that strengthens you and one that slowly destroys you. The solution involves understanding how to modify the environment and your technique, something that is often overlooked. How you run is as important as where you run, but there's another factor. A movement considered much gentler, that can be equally treacherous if not approached with due knowledge. The safe implementation for continuing to run after 50 involves a multifaceted strategy. First, switch from asphalt to softer surfaces whenever possible. Dirt trails, rubberized, running tracks, or even a park's grass can significantly reduce impact forces. Second, invest in appropriate footwear. Good running shoes, designed for your foot type and with proper cushioning, are not a luxury but an essential protective tool. The evidence here is strong, but with a caveat: there's no universal best shoe. The choice must be individualized. Third, and perhaps most importantly, focus on strengthening strong muscles around the joints, like the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes. Act as natural shock absorbers, absorbing some of the impact that would otherwise go straight to the cartilage. Exercises like squats, lunges, and glute bridges are fundamental. And finally, listen to your body. Pain is not synonymous with progress. If you feel joint pain, stop, rest, and consider cross-training, alternating running with low-impact activities, like swimming or cycling. This set of actions transforms running from a potential risk into a sustainable benefit. But, as we mentioned, what if, in an effort to protect your joints, you've already migrated to a supposedly safer practice like yoga, and you're still feeling pain? This is where we enter our second healthy habit that might be secretly sabotaging your joints. A world where the pursuit of flexibility can paradoxically lead to instability and pain. The answer lies in the details of certain poses and how we execute them. The second habit on our list is practicing certain yoga poses improperly or excessively. Yoga is widely promoted for its benefits in flexibility, balance, and stress reduction, and rightfully so. For most people, it's a transformative practice. The real health problem, however, isn't in yoga itself, but in the misinterpretation of its goals, especially for the over 50 crowd. Fitness culture often exalts extreme flexibility, encouraging practitioners to go deeper and deeper into poses like the forward fold Paschimottanasana or deep spinal twists. The scientific mechanism of damage here is twofold. Firstly, forcing a joint beyond its safe and stable range of motion can overstretch ligaments. Ligaments are like elastic bands that connect bones and provide joint stability. Once stretched, they don't fully return to their original shape, resulting in a looser, more unstable joint, making it more susceptible to injury and the development of arthritis. Current research in sports physiotherapy highlights that hypermobility can be as problematic as stiffness. Secondly, in poses that place direct pressure on the cartilage asymmetrically, like the lotus pose, Padmasana, for those who lack adequate hip rotation, pinching and accelerated wear of knee cartilage can occur. Available evidence suggests that hip injuries, like femoroacetabular impingement and knee meniscus tears, can be exacerbated by yoga practices that do unrespect individual anatomy and body limits. The key is to shift the focus from the depth of the pose to the integrity of the pose. But how do you know the difference? The safe implementation for practicing yoga after 50 lies in the word modification. It's essential to abandon the idea that the pose needs to look like it's from a magazine cover. Use props. Blocks under your hands in forward folds can protect your lower back and hamstrings. A strap can help you reach your feet without rounding your spine. And a blanket under your knees can alleviate pressure. In twisting poses, the movement should originate from the core of your torso, not the lower back or neck. The goal is thoracic spine mobility, not compression of the lumbar discs. Instead of forcing flexibility, focus on creating stability and space in the joints. Activate the muscles around the joint you're stretching. For example, in a hamstring stretch pose, gently contract your quadriceps. This sends a neurological signal called reciprocal inhibition that helps the opposing muscle relax more safely. Which of these poses have you felt pushed too hard in? Or perhaps you have a modification tip that works for you. Share your experience in the comments. Let's help each other practice more safely and consciously. We've now moved from the impact of running and deep yoga bends to the opposite extreme of the movement spectrum, speed and explosiveness. And it's in this high-intensity territory that we find our third healthy habit, a training method that promises maximum results in minimum time, but which can come at a very high cost to mature joints, if not approached with extreme caution and impeccable technique. The third habit that might be sabotaging your joints is high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, when performed without proper preparation and form. HIIT has become immensely popular for its efficiency. It burns calories, improves cardiovascular health, and boosts metabolism in short, intense sessions. The real health problem for the 50 crowd isn't the intensity itself, but the nature of the movements often included in these workouts. Plyometrics, jumping, burpees, and ballistic movements. The scientific mechanism of damage is related to shock absorption and joint stabilization capacity. With age, we naturally lose some muscle mass, sarcopenia, and proprioception, which is the body's ability to sense its position in space. This makes it harder to maintain perfect form during fast, explosive movements. A study published in the American Journal of Sports Medicine showed that fatigue during high-intensity exercise leads to a significant deterioration in landing biomechanics after a jump, increasing torsional and compressive forces on the knee. For a joint that may already have some cartilage wear, this type of repeated stress can accelerate degeneration and cause acute injuries, such as meniscus or ligament tears. The available evidence is clear. While HIIT can be beneficial for older adults, exercise selection is crucial. Safe implementation requires a mindset shift, from no pain, no gain, to smart and sustainable. The solution is not to avoid intensity, but rather to choose movements that elevate heart rate without harmful impact. And this same smart choice logic applies not only to what we do with our bodies, but also to what we put into them. This leads us to a nutrition habit, universally considered healthy, but which hides an inflammatory secret. Our fourth habit takes us from the gym to the kitchen. And it involves the excessive consumption of juices and smoothies, especially those loaded with fruit. The image of a vibrant glass of green juice, or a fruit smoothie, is the epitome of health in our culture. They are seen as a quick and easy way to consume vitamins and antioxidants. The real health problem, however, is sugar. Even the natural sugar from fruits. when consumed in large quantities and without the accompanying fiber, as in strained juices, can be a problem. The scientific mechanism is straightforward. A large influx of sugar into the bloodstream causes an insulin spike. Chronically high levels of sugar and insulin in the body promote a state of low-grade inflammation. Current research, published in journals like the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, links high sugar intake to an increase in blood inflammatory markers, such as C-reactive protein. For joints, inflammation is enemy number one. It can worsen osteoarthritis symptoms, increase pain and stiffness, and contribute to cartilage breakdown. A smoothie containing banana, mango, orange juice, and a bit of honey can easily exceed a day's recommended sugar intake, all in a single glass. The available evidence doesn't suggest that fruits are bad. On the contrary, whole fruits are rich in beneficial fiber and nutrients. The issue is the concentration and the form of consumption. Safe implementation involves rethinking the composition of your smoothies. The key is balance. And this same principle of balance and support applies not only to our nutrition, but also to the literal foundation upon which we build all our movements, our feet, and what we put on them. To transform your juices and smoothies from potential inflammatory bombs into joint health allies, follow the rule of balance. Instead of basing them solely on fruit, make the base dark leafy greens, like spinach or kale, which are nutrient-rich and low in sugar. Always include a source of protein, like a good quality protein powder, Greek yogurt, or chia seeds, and a source of healthy fat like avocado, flax seeds, or almond butter. Protein and fat help slow down sugar absorption, preventing insulin spikes. Limit fruit to a low glycemic portion, such as a handful of berries. This transforms your drink from a simple sugar shot into a balanced meal. Now, with the body nourished in an anti-inflammatory way, let's turn our attention to the base of our body, our feet. And this leads us to our fifth and final healthy habit: wearing the wrong type of supportive footwear. The confusion here is enormous. On one hand, we have the trend of minimalist shoes, promising a more natural walking experience. On the other, we have maximalist shoes, with ultra-thick cushioning, promising maximum impact protection. The problem is that neither is a universal solution, and the wrong choice for your biomechanics can have consequences that travel up your entire kinetic chain. The scientific mechanism lies in altering gait. Minimalist shoes, without adequate foot support and muscular strength, can lead to plantar fasciitis and stress fractures, as well as offering no cushioning for the joints above. Conversely, overly cushioned shoes can decrease proprioception, the feedback your feet send to your brain, which can lead to a heavier step and improper landing mechanics, transferring stress from the foot to the knee. The safe implementation is personalization and moderation. Finding the right footwear is an individual journey. Safe implementation begins with an honest understanding of your feet and your activities. For many, the best solution lies not in the extremes but in the middle ground. A shoe with good arch support, moderate cushioning, and a drop difference in height between the heel and the toe that suits your natural gait. Considering an assessment with a physical therapist or at a specialized running store that offers gait analysis can be a valuable investment. Additionally, rotating footwear can be beneficial, preventing your feet from becoming accustomed to a single movement pattern. Foot strength is also crucial. Simple exercises, like picking up objects with your toes, or doing calf raises, can strengthen the intrinsic muscles of the foot, creating natural support. Today, we uncovered 5 seemingly healthy habits that might be secretly harming your joints. After 50, from asphalt running to forced yoga poses, from explosive HIIT to sugary smoothies, and the wrong footwear choice, the main message is not one of fear or restriction, but of awareness and adaptation. Aging actively and pain-free isn't about stopping the things you love, but about learning to do them in a smarter way that honors your body's biology. Remember, this video offers research-based information, but it does not replace the advice of a qualified health professional. This is our medical disclaimer. Always consult your doctor, physical therapist, or nutritionist before making significant changes to your exercise routine or diet. If this video has helped you rethink any habit, share it with a friend or family member who might also benefit. And be sure to check out our other video on the best low-impact exercises for knees. Knowledge is the first step to a longer, more mobile, and happier life.